Hello and welcome to Idle Chat with the Wait What podcast.
Drinks up. How we doing?
Drinks up. How we all doing?
Yeah. So yeah, if you listen to a main episode, you know why it is just the two of us. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
Two of us.
If you're watching on YouTube, we might as well let you know that there is no Liam this week. He is currently ill. So it's just going to be the Wait What duo this week. Yeah. So we got prepared. I've got some beers. Mitchell's got a beer as well. So
Yep.
let's put this shit show on the road and see what we're going to chat about idly.
Well, I thought we could do something along the lines of, because you're a big wrestling fan. I know shame Liam can't be here, but oh well, he's lost. I thought we'd do wrestling promos / burns. I've come up with 10. All I'm going to do is say what was said, and you have to tell me who said it and who was it about or who it was to. And if you want to elaborate on why it was said or anything like that, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it could go very well like it did with the episode we did with Richie from the Super Media Bros, where I was just completely useless at guessing wrestling music intros and the lyrics as well.
I think these are pretty basic and easy to understand.
I should hope so. I should hope so. I would say this is going to be a very bad episode. But, the bar's already set low, so let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
I've got my beer. Let's get
Bottoms
going.
up.
Bottoms up.
Right, so the first one, just 2 words. Yep. Please retire.
Was that a burn from a wrestler? That sounds like a burn from a crowd. It sounds like the WWE crowd chanting it at Big Show.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's what it was.
All right. Yeah. Then yeah, the Big Show. What was this? About 2014, 15. I think about 2015.
Yeah.
Because around Royal Rumble time, this is when I remember it being the most heat. Well, I say heat, most go away kind of heat against Big Show and Kane as well, who was another WWE mainstay that had been around with the company for a long time. The Royal Rumble of that year, they were just taking out all the crowd favorites. They were taking out Dolph Ziggler. I think they took out Kofi Kingston as well. They took out basically a large section of Big Show punch, and then him and Kane just picking up wrestler, putting them over the top.
I think I remember that Royal Rumble, because they literally cleared the ring very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, WWE have a weird thing about Royal Rumbles where, I've always said that the best match WWE put on is the Royal Rumble, because even a bad Rumble is good.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of pushes the boundary of being a bad Rumble kind of thing, because 2015 and 2014 as well, the crowd really wanted Bryan Danielson to win. But yeah, the WWE weren't going to push him. So because of stuff like that, and the Big Show just being around all the time, turning heel, turning face.
He was heel at the point, weren't he?
He was heel at that point, and the crowd were chanting, please retire at him. And he eventually would. And now he's with AEW.
Not before he made his TV show.
No, he made the Big Show show.
Yep.
It's okay. Mick Foley's in it. He's one of my favourites.
Yep.
A brief cameo. He's not in it all the time. But yeah, all right. I got the first one right.
Told you it was going to be relatively easy.
I will drink when I get one right.
Okay. The next one, a bit longer. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of that smelly, nasty animal, and I'm going to get to you too, Rhino.
I know that one. Oh my god, I can't believe I know that one. That is such a yeah. This was 2001 era invasion with Chris Jericho and Rhino, and basically it was Chris Jericho against Stephanie McMahon is what the actual kind of feud was.
Yeah.
Rhino was like the person that was representing the alliance at the time who were involved in the invasion angle, who were WCW and ECW. And Chris Jericho basically goes, "I'm going to take care of that smelly animal, and I'll get you too, Rhino," because obviously Stephanie McMahon is in there as well. Yeah. Chris Jericho back then was classic. I mean, the things he would say about Stephanie McMahon definitely wouldn't fly today. He was very, I guess
he's very good on the mic.
He's fantastic, but back then what we would class now as slut shaming is what it was.
Yeah,
and it's not even fair because Stephanie McMahon, like, I don't know anything about her personally or anything like that, but from what it seems like, she's only been with Triple H all her life, so it's hardly a slut.
Yeah,
but back then her character was someone that was seen as like that way. She had a boob job as well, and that's what Chris Jericho also said, that she was the best. So he would say it, and she was a smelly trash bag hoe. They'd go along the whole line of it, and he had a lot of fun with it, and it helped to get him over to the crowd as well. So no harm done. All right, I got another one right. Sweet.
Oh, drink.
Very nice.
This one's an earlier one.
Okay.
What would your father think?
Oh. What would your father think? That's a tough one. I am gonna guess. I don't know who said it, but if I can guess that it's about Goldust.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was down the line of.
If I tell you who they are, you'll probably understand what it was.
Yeah, go on.
Paul Heyman to Vince.
You said this earlier. It's around the same time.
Yeah.
It sounds like. Yeah, it's around 2001. Oh, one of the best shoot promos ever.
He went in at Vince on this one. He kept asking Vince before going on, like, "Do you want to hear what I'm going to say?" He was like, "Nope." Well, surprise me.
Yeah, and what Paul Heyman does, who again, another master of the microphone, he goes a lot. Basically, they say he shoots on Vince McMahon, and he kind of does because, as you said, he didn't tell Vince what he was going to say, but Vince knew he was going to say something around these times. And basically, Paul Heyman talks about how Vince killed basically the wrestling territories to have his own kind of a wrestling empire. And what would his father think of? Because Vince McMahon Senior was obviously someone that wanted to keep keep it as a territory system where he was in charge of Andre the Giant and wrestling him out to different territories and everything like that. That's another story. Well, the beer's kicking in. But Paul Heyman, master of the microphone, and the thing about that is that he turns around. I remember the end of that promo because he talks about Taz.
Yeah,
Taz is obviously like a massive star in ECW with Paul Heyman, and he goes, "You take someone like Taz from ECW." And who was a wrestling machine, and you turned him into a 2-bit commentator. And Taz obviously takes exception to that. He stands up from his commentary table and then proceeds to go into the ring and choke Paul Heyman out with a Taz mission, which then brings about the end of the segment. But the whole promos itself, you can see it on YouTube, I'm sure. Paul Heyman shoots on Vince McMahon. It's a work of art. Paul Heyman
does it many times, though, doesn't he?
Oh, Paul Heyman's shooting, yeah. I mean, he had a good one at ECW One Night Stand. It might come up in this list, so I won't say it yet.
Yeah.
But Paul Heyman is a great man on the mic. So I didn't get that right, but I'm going to take a drink anyway.
Take a drink anyway.
Yeah, I got it wrong. So
you understood where it was.
I know the story, yeah.
Right, the next one. It's called a promo kid. If you want to be with the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it. So go ahead.
This was great, yeah. This is more recent. I think it's 2017 No Mercy with John Cena to Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Back when Roman Reigns was his babyface character, because right now he is the Uwu champion. Liam's not here. He can't get angry. He's back then he was just a babyface that was struggling to get over, and the crowd were really on Roman Reigns, like booing him, giving him the opposite reaction.
This was just after Shield, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, it's quite a while after Shield. I think it's like 3 years after. Basically they're building up to a match between Cena and Reigns at this not a major pay per view like a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam or anything like that. It's No Mercy, and they're having a promo back and forth on Raw, and somewhere along the way, Roman Reigns either just like doesn't know what to say, loses his way, doesn't say something confident enough, and John Cena, in a act of seems to be unscripted behavior, says that line. Yeah, it's a promo, kid. If you want to be the big dog, you're gonna have to learn how to cut him.
Yeah.
And yeah, to be fair to Roman Reigns, he definitely can cut a promo now. There's no doubt about that. Everyone loves him now.
John Cena
as
made
a
Roman
bad
Reigns.
Yeah, I would say so. And like the thing about John Cena, he came back recently on Raw.
Yeah.
He had it was his 20th anniversary. Everyone loves John Cena now, and to right, because even though like he got the hate and stuff like that, John Cena is a magnificent human being. He does all the Make-A-Wish stuff. He's always wrestling. He's the one of the most hardworking individuals.
Guinness World Record for that, isn't he?
Yes, he's got the world record for Make-A-Wishes. He flew to the Netherlands to meet a kid from the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because the Ukrainian kid's mum told him that they were leaving their home to see John Cena.
Yeah.
And John Cena heard about that story and took some time out of his ridiculously busy schedule to get some gear from WWE, fly over to Holland, meet the kids, take some pictures with the kid, and like give him his wishes and merchandise and all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, the man is like incredibly generous, and so you never hear anything about him doing anything bad or like a bit shady. I mean,
do you think Hollywood has made him better?
I would say that
as a bigger
star
outside 100%. Of WWE.
100%. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would say that it was inevitably going to happen. That John Cena was going to follow The Rock in like kind of a Hollywood acting career, and he's really good at it because he's a really good actor. I've seen him in the new Justice League when he plays the Peacemaker character. I know Liam has watched Peacemaker. We probably get him to talk about it at some point, but the man is like, as I say, a Hall of Fame, as they say, a Hall of Fame human being, and yeah, this is an example of him kind of passing the torch down. Was what the intention was. I think he lost at No Mercy in 2017 to Roman Reigns. He definitely lost at the last SummerSlam when I had Roman Reigns versus John Cena.
Yeah.
Eventually, John Cena will come back and wrestle, and he said he'll come back and he'll wrestle not just the one match, it'll be a few matches, and he'll be interested to see where that goes. But I got it right, so another drink of beer. Lovely.
Next one. Let me make myself clear. If you put the letter S in front of Hitman, you will get my exact opinion of Bret Hart.
Fantastic. This is heel Stone Cold Steve Austin back in 1996. Cutting promos. I mean, it's like the genesis of the Stone Cold Steve Austin character. He'd won the King of the Ring, and people think, oh, he won King of the Ring. He cut the promo after saying about Austin 316 says, I just whooped your ass. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. He said all that in the promo after he won King of the Ring. And people think that then his career just skyrocketed. But he actually didn't until like a few months later when he had this feud with Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret was away from WWE filming something, I believe, some kind of TV show. And so Austin was cutting promo after promo after promo about Bret the Hitman Hart. And that's where he said the infamous, if you put the letter S in front of Hitman, you have my exact feelings about Bret Hart. And they proceeded to have a great match at Survivor Series 1996.
Was that the one where he broke Stone Cold's neck?
Well, no, that's Owen. No, that's later. That's Owen Hart at SummerSlam 97. That was his brother. But no, he had a great match he had a trilogy of great matches with Bret Hart. He had that one, as I said, the Survivor Series 96 that Bret won. Then they had the WrestleMania match, the submission match with Bret versus Austin, and the double turn with Shamrock, a special guest referee, where Austin passes out in the sharpshooter. Bret refuses to let go of it. Shamrock eventually tackles him, and Bret gets booed, and Austin stuns the ref and still leaves as kind of not like a good guy, but still just like the more likable person.
Yeah.
And yeah, then they had a third match, which I believe Austin won. And yeah, like no one did more for Austin's early kind of career than Bret Hart putting on those matches. And yeah, it's a shame about the match that you just mentioned, the neck break, because that really shortened down Stone Cold's career. However, come back and lost WrestleMania, which was very impressive. But we definitely lost. We definitely missed out on a lot of Austin years
At least
because
this
of that.
showed he can take a bump still.
Yeah, well, yeah, he took a suplex on the floor. It's crazy. I saw that and I was just like, no, no, Austin. He's fragile, because we got the feeling that Austin's fragile. We've been told, his neck's in pieces. He's shot. But yeah, he done that match, and he's gone on to do his own thing as well, his own career, and he works with everything. He's got his own podcast. He's got his own little interview thing that he does, which is great. Austin's got his own interview style, which he does very well. And yeah, that, as I said, like another man that could cut a promo, and that was an infamous line. So another right answer, another beer.
Cool.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm feeling it now. The main episode. You've already listened to the main episode. You know how cut I was. This is why.
Right, next one. You love being in the wrestling ring and you love wrestling, right? Then why don't you quit? Why don't you quit and go to the bingo halls with your indie friends?
I'm surprised I'm getting all these, to be fair. They are jumping around a lot as well, which I quite like. This is another man that could cut a promo, and he's very underrated, in my opinion, for that reason. The Miz.
Yes.
The Miz on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
This was when Bryan was retired and was the general manager of SmackDown. And the Miz was doing some of his best work at this time. He'd been Intercontinental Champion a number of times. He had great matches with the likes of Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. And like he put on some great wrestling clinics. And basically, Daniel Bryan had said that he didn't rate the Miz as a wrestler. And the Miz then went on to kind of like berate Daniel Bryan. Sorry, I'll use his WWE name in this context. And the thing is, this didn't happen on like.
It didn't happen on the show. It happened on like a podcast sort of.
It's like
platform sort of thing.
Well, it's like a post show kind of thing. I think there was a post show thing called Talking Smack, that happened after SmackDown. It had Renee Young on it. It was absolutely fantastic, and Daniel Bryan, who was the general manager, and they basically carried storylines on, and they cut promos, and they basically just explain stuff, which was really good. And yeah, the Miz was on there. Daniel Bryan just said about how he didn't respect the Miz as a wrestler. The Miz went off on Daniel Bryan, just basically saying, if you love wrestling so much, then why are you still here? Why, like, he's the day where I was like, well, I retired. He's just like, so you can leave the WWE, go wrestle with like bingo holes if you love it so much. He's basically saying about Miz was saying about how his wrestling style means that he never gets injured. Like, I'm always here wrestling because I don't get injured, and you're the coward, Daniel Bryan. You're the coward. And it's great because like Daniel Bryan can't say anything back almost. Like because like the Miz is right. So the only thing Daniel Bryan could do is walk off the set, and he walks off the set, and the Miz is still going, still berating him, and it's probably, and like I didn't see it live because this was on Talking Smack, but it was all over Twitter the next day. And The Miz is an incredible promo, incredibly underrated. He's got an amazingly hot wife as well, which is something to really hate him for. Really, you got to be really jealous of The Miz, I have to say, because he is a good-looking man. He's obviously very talented. He can talk his ass off. He's making a hell of a lot of money, and he's a great heel. And they've tried to turn him babyface a few times. They shouldn't. They should just keep him as a heel, and they should probably build him up more. Is what I say. He's been pigeonholed in this kind of like interview kind of talking position because he talks so well, but he can wrestle well as well, and he should really be.
When he first come to the WWE, was he like the whipping boy at one point?
Yes, 100%. 2007. He came from Tough Enough.
Yeah, he comes from Tough Enough.
You remember Tough Enough, the reality show? Yeah.
Didn't they make him lose to like Eugene or something like that at one point?
Yeah. Like obviously, he started in 2007. I want to say he was like the host of like the Diva Search.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was like put in that position, and then he was literally put in like a underneath wrestling position when he was jobbing out to everyone. And then there's the infamous story that wrestling fans know of him being bullied backstage, being made to change because he done some bad wrestling etiquette. I don't know the true story. The story is that he was eating chicken in the dressing room somewhere, and like the crumbs or stuff was getting on a wrestler's bag, and a wrestler who was respected in the industry at the time but kicked him out of the dressing room. They say it's JBL, but it's not JBL. It's actually Chris Benoit, who obviously can't be mentioned in WWE for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kicked him out. Miz was made to dress in the building wherever he could. Which obviously was crazy, but that's the way that the wrestlers handled their business back then. And he came from that. He rose up through the ranks. He's been there for over 10. He's been there 15 years now. Yeah, and he's always been very talented on the mic, and that was evidence of it. They should really give him more to do. I think he should be pushed better. He should be one of those in the main event position, just talking and cutting promos and having great matches, because he doesn't. Yeah. He does have a style which means that he doesn't get injured. The only thing that you shouldn't do is dive on him, because apparently because he's got the reputation of not being able to catch people properly. But and again, another one right, another sip of beer. Sip of beer for the working man, as Austin would say.
Yeah.
Also, Next one.
If you guys can keep that up for 2 minutes 15 seconds, you'd last longer than he did.
Oh, I actually don't know this one.
It's Stephanie McMahon about CM Punk.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure CM Punk was in UFC and he lost his fight in under 2 minutes 15.
Oh, fuck. That is. Yeah, you're right. Yes,
and
I remember that
one
now. Oh, yeah. So they were obviously chanting for CM Punk during the Stephanie McMahon promo, and yeah, like she just basically turned around to the crowd and said, "If you could keep that up for 2 minutes 15 seconds, then you would last longer than CM Punk did." Classic, great heel work by Stephanie McMahon. Great way to turn it around. I mean, CM Punk's UFC career was what it was. He did it mainly to kind of like say that he'd done it. I don't know if anyone expected him to be successful at it. I'm sure there was hopes that he'd be successful at it, but yeah, he obviously didn't last long in either fight that he had. And yeah, like at the time, obviously there was a large anti. Anyone that had anti-WWE kind of like feelings would chant CM Punk in an arena. I don't know if they were in Chicago at the time, but yeah, that's great work by Stephanie. I can't say anything more other than that. I got it wrong, so another sip of beer.
Cool.
Stephanie does some great heel work.
She can think on her feet as well.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure
guessing that wasn't scripted, because why would they get the audience to do that?
Well, I'm sure they would anticipate a CM Punk chant, especially if they're in Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure like if she was going to be kind of promo, she would anticipate there'd be a CM Punk chant, and if there was, she'd have something to respond with, and she has a very good comeback. Can't say anything more than that.
Yeah. Right, next one.
Yep.
You know what? Vince is probably going to find me for this, but the only reason he came back in the first place was to promote Fast 5 and launch his Twitter account. Just like I don't need words for my promo on my wrist. Nice tattoo.
Huh. He's talking
they're two different ones, but they're the same people.
Oh, right. Yeah. I know now. This, because the writing on the wrist thing is what gave it away. Fast 5, so it was about The Rock.
Yeah.
So it's Cena. It's during the Cena Rock feud. Okay, yeah. So that's Cena talking about The Rock during their build up to WrestleMania 28, I'm going to say. And yeah, during that promote the weeks leading up to that match, they had The Rock cutting promos, and The Rock's obviously a natural at cutting promos, but yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was because I think that they had to have something for Cena to come back at The Rock with, so they had The Rock write his promo on his wrist and glanced at it a few times where he'd done it so that Cena would have something to say back to
Yeah.
him. I don't believe that The Rock needed it. I think that was just something that they did for the story. But yeah, that was a nice moment because it was nice for Cena to have that against him because what the fans wanted to see was Cena actually come out and cut a promo like he would have done when he was the Doctor of Thugonomics, which would have been like to do a rap or something about it. But he couldn't. I think he did do that. I think they did do that in the weeks leading up because they had The Rock do a rock concert like he did when he was a heel, but as a babyface, which didn't work as well because the reason why the rock concerts were so good is because he was a heel, so he was like cussing like all the crowds, saying shit about them. Like it was fantastic. The one he did in Sacramento was great, where he's talking about the Kings, about how they lose to the Lakers, and the crowd will boo him. He goes, "Oh, you like that, huh? Well, I'll see it again." I'll come back when the Lakers beat the Kings in May. But yeah, they had. I think they had Vicky Guerrero, who was a heel at the time, come out, and so the Rock had someone to sing a song about, but it didn't work as well. And Cena's kind of rap wasn't really as memorable either. But that was a nice little bit. I mean, the first match was better than the second match because the first match was billed as once in a lifetime. Yeah. But I got it right. So
yeah, drink.
Took a beer for the working man.
Well, next one.
Yes.
It's a bit ironic we're drinking it now.
All right, cool. Don't you think?
Why don't you act like this is an AA meeting and shut your mouth while I'm sharing with the group?
Is it share with the group? Huh. It's an AA meeting. No, I don't know, actually.
Samoa Joe to Jeff Hardy.
Oh, right. So it's a more recent one then.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, not only is that ironic because we're drinking, but it's also quite timely because Jeff Hardy is having his own problems at the moment. I kind of feel bad that Samoa Joe didn't do more in WWE. He had a great theme. He is a great talker. He can cut a promo. He's believable as well. When he wrestled Brock Lesnar in WWE, that was a match that people wanted to see and wanted to see like Joe be an equal to Brock Lesnar and be pushed as that kind of equal. But yeah, it didn't happen. Unfortunately, he lost to Brock Lesnar after the one F5, which it was a throwaway pay per view as well called Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember much about the.
I think it was like
a Hardy feud.
I think it was supposed to be like a fatal 5-way or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it was. And Samoa Joe come out and said that to him.
I can't say that I remember any Samoa Joe Jeff Hardy kind of program or feud or anything like that. But I can say that Samoa Joe is a fantastic promo. I can say that he is believable and a great wrestler, and he's still about today, thankfully. He's had a lot of trouble with injuries. He was fantastic as a commentator in WWE. It's a shame that they didn't, either that he didn't see himself being a commentator or whatever. Maybe he'll come back and do commentary in the future, which would be nice to see. But yeah, Jeff Hardy has got his own problems. Everyone likes to rag on Jeff Hardy. If you want to get heat, then say some shit about Jeff Hardy's demons, whether it be with alcohol or drugs or the law or whatever. But yeah, I got it wrong, so I have a swig of beer.
And the last one.
Good.
You kind of teased it earlier. Okay. The only reason you are WWE champion for over a year is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays.
I thought that this would be there. I was gonna mention it, but I thought it might be there. Yeah, this is ECW One Night Stand 2005. Paul Heyman comes out and does a shoot promo. I have to say, one of the best pay-per-views that WWE ever put on as a one-off kind of thing was ECW One Night Stand, the first one. They had a nice kind of matches throughout, which made sense. Guerrero versus Benoit, Storm versus Jericho, fucking Masato Tanaka and Mike Awesome have an unbelievable match in there that you have to check out. But they have a storyline going through it as well, where WWE invaders have come into the ECW arena, which is Bischoff, Kurt Angle, JBL, Edge. Like a load of them have all come into ECW arena, and they're basically there just to like talk shit, really. And Paul Heyman comes out, gets a bit emotional, says, "I'm not crying. I was just out back smoking a joint with Van Damme," which is a great line. He thanks the crowd for everything they've done for ECW, and he basically says, "And I was going to leave it there, but I've got something to say to you." And he points at the ECW WWE invaders, and he goes, talks about, he says some shoot comments, says to Edge,
he
says to Edge that,
one in, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, he says to Edge, because at the time, the Edge Lita Matt Hardy thing had happened, where Matt and Lita were in a relationship, and then Lita was on the road with Edge, and one thing led to another while Matt Hardy was injured, and they had a fling, a relationship, or whatever it was. And Matt Hardy was gone from the company. He was persona non grata. And Paul Heyman just goes, "I have 2 words for you." And he goes, "Matt freaking Hardy." Which kind of undercuts what he says, because then he goes to Edge through the spit take. He turns around to everyone going, "That's 3, isn't it? That's 3 words." But and then he says to JBL, who was WWE champion, not at the time, but he had just gone off of a long reign as WWE champion. And he goes, "Seeing as you like to shoot, cowboy, the only reason that you were WWE champion for so long is because Triple H didn't want to work on Tuesdays," which is basically the reference that that Raw and SmackDown were separate shows, and Triple H wanted to be the main champion on the main show, and then so JBL was the main champion on the B show. And so it was nice. It was nice to shoot comments, and JBL kind of sells it like in a comical way. He's getting pissed out of his ass, just like I am right now. During that whole show, there's I had the ECW One Night Stand DVD, and on it there's alternative commentary from JBL, who was mic'd up during the show. And it is insane what he's saying about people while they hear word on the show, man. It is insane. He's saying so many like crazy shit that you could not say. Like, I think some of the shit comes out. I think, like, what was it? I think it was watching a match between, I think it was the triple threat between Tajiri, Super Crazy, and Nunzio, or Lil Guido as he's known back there. And it might have been Tanaka versus Awesome. I think it was Tanaka versus Awesome. And basically, he just keeps referring to Tanaka as his gardener. He's just like, "Look at my gardener. Look how well he's rested now. Look how he swings that chair." It's just like absolutely crazy. But yeah, that was ECW One Night Stand. I highly recommend it for anyone who hasn't seen it. And let's took a beer for the working man. All right.
Yes. I think it's about
thank
that
you,
time.
YouTube. Yeah, thank you, YouTube. We are the Wait What Podcast. You can check us out on the Twitter at Wait What Pod Trio. We're about to record a main episode now, where we're going to do more drinking and do more talking shit. So that came out first. So if you're here to know the before, the aftermath, the before math.
The before math.
Yeah, if you want to see the before math of how we got that bad, then this is it. But yeah, we're going to do more drinking on the main episode. And thanks for watching us on YouTube. I'll leave it up to Mitchell to do his bit.
Well, you said all my bit, so all I have to say is thank you, like and subscribe.
Fuck you back. Thank you. Fuck you back. Peace. Yeah, later on.
Peace.